Hi, everybody. I'm Olivia F, and welcome to Behind the Ad, where we meet with industry leaders who are using marketing and advertising innovatively to equip you to do so as well. Today on Behind the Ad, we're going inside one of New Orleans' most iconic brands, Mignon Faget. I'm joined by CEO Maghan Oroszi to talk about the strategic partnerships, marketing bets, and brand decisions shaping the next chapter of this incredible heritage jewelry house. From where the brand shows up in media to how collaborations are chosen, we'll unpack how Mignon Faget protects its legacy while reaching a new generation of customers. Thank you so much for joining us, Maghan.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is a joy. So let's talk about when you stepped into the CEO role at Mignon Faget. What were the first branding or marketing decisions you knew you wanted to either protect at all cost or immediately evolve?
Yeah, so it was a really interesting time, a pivotal time for the company. Mignon was deciding to step away from the day-to-day business. She's still the owner of the business, but up until that point, she ran everything. And so she was looking to step into her well-earned retirement.
And at what age was this, by the way, when she was going to step into retirement?
She was 85, 86.
Incredible. Okay.
80s in her 80s, yeah.
Yes, definitely well earned.
Yes. And so up until that point, 50 plus years at that point, she was the founder. She built this business from the ground up. It really is her life's work and her passion. And so she also was the face of the brand.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that we maintained her as the persona, but at the same time, we kind of wanted to move into the next phase of the business and identify the brand without the person.
Got it.
And also inside of that made a decision about would there be another face, and deciding no, that the thing that Mignon had created, her personality, she's an artist, she's a socialite, she's a fifth generation New Orleanian. There's so much value to her persona that we didn't think that there was a place to replace that.
Correct.
So we want to maintain that.
Okay.
But we also want to create this new modern voice.
Correct.
To move into the next 50 years. That's our goal, right? Move in the next 50 years. And so we spent a lot of time sort of looking at the past, thinking about the future. We actually worked with Peter Mayer, a local ad agency.
Yes, we've had them on our show before, Miss Michelle.
Yes, great company, great team, really helped us through this transition and sort of identifying what was important to keep, what needed to be modernized or updated, and how to go about that. And also, like, how is this going to impact our very loyal customer base?
Correct. All about the customer, right?
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time. We did some research. We did surveys. We did national surveys. We did local surveys. We surveyed the.
I love it.
We surveyed the name. Well, because the long-term plans really is to grow the business into a national brand. That's the long-term goals. And so Mignon Faget is, in New Orleans, a very easy name to say. Outside of New Orleans, not easy to say. And like, was that going to be challenging? So we did surveys about that. We did surveys about the logos and the packaging and the story, taglines, all kinds of things to get some real feedback about how, if we change any of these things, how is it going to be received?
Did you decide you're going to change anything? You're not changing the name, right?
We decided absolutely not change the name.
Okay.
Really interesting finding was that even people who didn't know how to say it or knew that it was a person or what it referenced, they felt like it was luxury adjacent.
Absolutely.
And
it
so,
feels like it.
Yeah, and so there was value in that.
Right.
Because we're a luxury jewelry brand, right?
Absolutely.
And so, or they felt it was exotic, or they felt it was interesting. There was some appeal to it. They wanted to know more.
So the brand is rooted in New Orleans, but your customers are increasingly global.
Yes.
Right? How do you ensure that you have an appeal that is global while still appealing to the local audience and also still feeling unmistakably, undeniably New Orleans?
Yeah, I think, authenticity is what's going to appeal to both of these demographics.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
And
Smart. That's a through line.
Yes. And we really, like I said, we are interested in growing the brand. I believe that Mignon has built something special that speaks for the culture of New Orleans, represents the culture of New Orleans. And I think that just like a Tiffany or a David Yurman represents the city of New York and has a broad appeal, I think that we can do the same thing. I think that, all good design is classic design, right? So it's timeless. And I think that as long as we stay true to the roots of the brand and what we identify as the valuable cultural elements of New Orleans, we have something special to share with the people that know that culture, but also with the people who have not yet been introduced to it.
Right. Right. And you're the gateway for those who haven't been introduced. Like they become familiar with the culture through your jewelry.
Yes.
Which is a really important responsibility.
It's an incredibly important responsibility. There's also a lot of potential pitfalls because of the uniqueness of New Orleans and what people identify as New Orleanian and what real New Orleanians identify as New Orleanian.
Yes.
And so we try not to overstate it.
Yep.
We don't want to be Mardi Gras.
Correct.
We want to be fun, but not debaucherous.
Right.
Right? We want to be a little irreverent, but not,
Classy still.
but classy still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the metals market has experienced significant volatility over the last year.
Yeah.
How has this market change impacted your marketing?
The metals market has been wild this year. So I have been in the jewelry industry for a little over 25 years. And I don't, in my time, I've never seen anything like it. And I have done some historical research, and I don't think there's ever been anything quite like it. And so it's been wild, ups and downs. To give you a little point of reference, silver is our primary metal that we use. We also use gold as well. But last year at this time, silver was about $27 an ounce. In December, it was $124 an ounce. That is a massive change.
Wow. Massive.
Gold is over $1,000 more than it was last year. So how do you protect your margins, manage your inventory, and then also protect your customer? Right, from these wild changes. So we never have done market prices. Some fine jewelers do. So when you go in to purchase that day, whatever the market price is, what you're going to get.
Okay.
But we don't do it that way. We sort of hedge pricing to create stability for the customer. So typically we do a price change maybe once a year, maybe every 2 years.
Okay.
We just did price change number 6.
In the year.
So on the marketing side and for the customer, we've seen it as an opportunity to educate the customer about the value of their purchase.
Okay.
Because we do work in precious metals and precious materials, and they do in fact increase in value over time. The silver market has never seen such a rapid growth, so it was harder for a customer to sort of feel that. You'd have to hold silver for 20 years, maybe. But now, not so much, and I don't expect this to keep changing in this way, but attached to our heritage brand, the product that we make is valuable. And it's generational, and it gets passed down. And you are buying something that you can have for a lifetime. Connected to that, we talk about maintenance of our jewelry and how to keep it, and how to, if you have, you know, a pendant that was passed down by your mother, but now it's tarnished, you can bring it to us and we can clean it up for you. We can restore it. And that's also part of the value of the precious metals, right?
Yes.
Something breaks, you can get it repaired. We also, we do things like, we have 55 years worth of models of jewelry, and so even items that we aren't actively manufacturing, we can still make those things. So like, say you lose one of your earrings, we can make you the match to the earring. So we've been trying to educate the customer on those sort of things, like how to take care of your investment, that it is an investment, that you know, it's something you can have for a lifetime. We believe our design is timeless. It's not going to fall in and out of fads. There is fast fashion jewelry in the world now.
Absolutely.
And you have it a year and you throw it out. That's not what we're doing.
A year, 2 months.
Yeah.
Forever 21. I mean, my rainbow, all that stuff, right?
Yes.
But I want to go back because I'm loving everything you're saying. What I'm also hearing as you're speaking right now, Megan, is that as the metals market was being extremely volatile, that you all made a decision. Because I was thinking, okay, maybe they just decided to start using like fillers and start like reducing the quality of your products.
No.
Right? Because you don't want to really, that's risky that, okay, our market conditions are changing. We don't necessarily want to increase the prices for our customers, but you had to if you're going to maintain the quality and the caliber of your brand and your products. But I love that you guys made that decision, and then you guys began to lean into the other values around the timelessness, the lifetime warranties, those things, right?
Yeah. There are ways on the design. There's lots of ways to approach the design side to make cost-effective decisions for the customer. You make it a little smaller. You don't use a cord instead of a chain. It's beaded instead of a chain. You try to use a little less metal. You try to work in some more interesting materials. You could like wood or leather, or there's a lot of different things. Mignon has a long history of working with those types of materials, and so it is true to the brand. But we very Pandora.
Yes.
Massive international brand.
Right.
Their response, and their primary material is also silver. Their response was to come out with a palladium plated product instead of solid silver. And their marketing says that they have a custom our proprietary plating that they have developed, and it's better and it's stronger. The facts are that plating has limitations, and that plating will wear off, and it's not easy to restore, and you can't just go and like touch it up. You have to remove all the plating and you have to put it all back on, and so. We talked about it. We talked about, did we want to do plating? Did we, those sorts of things. But we believe that we're creating heritage jewelry, an investment.
Well, you are.
Art.
Yeah, that's,
right. And so we don't want to devalue it in any way. And so, yeah, it's a difficult decision. We had several years ago, because gold was getting more and more out of reach for our average customer, we had decided to introduce bronze, unplated bronze, very specifically. And people think most jewelers will plate bronze. They'll plate gold on top of bronze. When you purchase it, it gives you that like nice, shiny, like gold thing. But again, the plating will wear off.
Yep.
If it is just straight bronze, you can polish it, you can refurbish it, you can get it back to that original state. Now, some people have a reaction with bronze. The metal reacts with their skin. So it's a personal choice that you have to make. Does it fit your lifestyle? We try to educate the customer about those things at the point of purchase, right? Like, is this the right thing for you? Are you, please don't swim with it.
Right.
He's spending a lot of time in the spa. You probably don't want to like wear this jewelry. But for some people, it's a good choice. And it's solid metal. It's not a precious metal, but it's something that gives you the look of gold if that's your if that's the aesthetic you're going for. But you can maintain it, you can refurbish it, you can keep it for a long time.
Okay.
That's important to us.
I have one more question for you here before we shift over to media placement. How did your customers respond, right? Because as a customer of a brand, if my brand is increasing their prices 6 times within a year, I'm definitely going to have a lot of questions for them.
Yeah.
I may shift to another brand because I'm like, they just don't know what they're doing, what's happening.
Sure.
Right? Because I'm a layperson. I don't know about the metals market. I don't know. So how have they responded?
Yeah. So we did so many price changes because we tried to make it incremental. So
they like little bitty, like 2%, or they like 520?
There's no 20s, no 20s. There were a couple like jumps, but we tried to make it incremental so there wasn't like a shock.
Okay.
We also very purposefully purchased early for holiday so that we did not have to raise the prices before holiday.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
So we did some strategic things, but how did they respond? You know, we have put this education into our marketing, right?
Okay.
So it's on our social media, it's in our emails.
Okay.
We're actively doing it in our marketing. We're also educating our salespeople to help educate the customer. Has there been pushback? Sure, right? Because, you know,
Who
everyone
wants price increases?
who
Like,
wants
you want
price
gas.
increases?
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're not engaged, I look at the metal market every single day. I looked at it before I walked into this interview,
Correct.
right?
You know what's happening.
I know what's happening. Yeah. I know what the drivers are. I know what the next driver is going to be theoretically, right? I'm hyper engaged in it. But no, I understand that the customer isn't, and that's why it's so important for us to educate them. And you know, and then it can become like a lifestyle like question, and it's like, you know, for our sales team, you know, I understand that this price point doesn't fit your budget anymore.
Right.
Well, let's find out what does fit your budget. Let's work with you to see if we can get you something that you're looking for. And again, that was the thought about bringing in bronze. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a tough decision because we wanted to be solidly rooted in precious materials.
Correct.
And the perception is that this thing isn't. But I think that our customer appreciates it.
Right.
It has done very well for us.
Okay.
The aesthetic is moving away from gold into silver. You'll see it all over this coming fall.
Okay.
And so it'll be interesting to see, like, you know, as the trends shift, are people then willing to like pay a little more for the silver to get that look? And like I said, we listen to our customer. We design to the problem, right?
Right.
And so we're always designing.
Right.
We always have new stuff coming out. We have at least 5 product drops a year.
Oh, beautiful.
So we can really respond.
Very well.
We can really respond.
And in addition to being a CEO, I should also make sure that listeners know that you are a designer by trade.
Yes.
Right? So you're someone that is designing and staying connected with how to design for the market, actually, and your customers as well. How do you decide where a brand like Mignon Faget should show up? Print, social, outdoor, events, influencers, and what criteria do you use to say yes or no to an opportunity? I have been working in this field for a very long time. I won't say the number of years, but I will say for a very long time. Yes. And I know that media outlets are probably always chomping at the bit, you know, to call you and say, be on our TV ad, do radio, do print. Yeah. So how do you make those decisions? I've seen some of the most beautiful ads you guys create with outdoor billboards. Yeah. So how do you make these decisions?
Yeah. Well, I think you're very well aware the marketing world is changing rapidly.
What?
It's changing.
Understatement?
It's changing all the time. So interesting you point out this billboard. We have one of the most prestigious billboards in the city of New Orleans. We've had it for a very long time. And
tell us the location for those who don't know.
It is on, it's by Lakeside Mall. Yep. It is at that perfect intersection of I-10 and, what's the?
17th, making a left on 17th?
Yeah, but we're, coming from the North Shore.
Okay.
Coming from the Causeway.
Yes.
So it's right at the Causeway and I-10. And so it gets a massive amount of traffic. I don't know if you know, but Lakeside Mall is the best performing mall, not only in the state of Louisiana, but also it's in the top ranks in the country. And I believe it's because it has this very unique geographic location.
Right.
And I don't think people outside of New Orleans fully understand the geography of New Orleans and Metairie, North Shore, New Orleans, and that like Lakeside is perfectly centered into the middle of that and can get all of that traffic.
Correct.
And so can that billboard. So we've had the billboard for a very long time.
And so you have first right of refusal on that.
We have first right of refusal. It's very expensive.
Wow.
And so as marketing has changed and these new opportunities come up and we look at our marketing budgets and we make these decisions,
Yes.
often the billboard comes up as this old marketing, right?
Yep.
Old static marketing that isn't relevant anymore. And do we take those dollars and do we move that into
To influencers.
Influencers,
Social.
PR companies,
Yeah.
CTV is our next thing
Of
we're going to be
course.
talking about.
Of course, CTV. Yeah.
And so, however, the decision comes up every year, and every year we say, no, we want to keep this billboard. Because of those things that I just described to you, it has this very unique geographic location. If we let go of that billboard, we're never getting it back.
Ever.
Ever.
Ever. That's number one. I have a question for you, this. So is your media strategy solely the billboard, or do you have a little bit of mix of digital, website?
have everything.
You have everything. Okay.
We have everything.
Okay.
And we're very engaged in what's going on in the marketing world and what's changing and
Okay.
What platforms are for which demographic. So we have a very broad demographic. We're a generational brand that has, our youngest customer is probably a teenager. Our oldest customer is in their 80s.
Right.
Right? And so how do you market to all of these people with a unified voice and a limited budget?
Can you educate us all on that, right? Because I talk to people all the time. You're one of the few brands, like a Coca-Cola, right? Where
Yeah.
when they say, who is your demographic in terms of age,
Yes.
it is 18, it's 8
Yes.
to like 80,
Yes.
right? So how do you do it?
So we look at all these marketing outlets and touch points, and we try to identify which one is for which demographic.
Okay.
So let's just talk about social media.
Okay.
I might eat my words on this. I don't think you can do successful marketing and not be involved in social media today.
I would agree with you.
But it's changing all the time. From last year, it's changed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so let's just talk about like the standards of social media. You got Facebook, you've got Instagram, and you've got TikTok. Those today, I believe, are 3 different demographics for us.
Right.
So it's about what you put on those different platforms, or which one is your bread and butter, which one is. So for us, we haven't invested heavily into TikTok, but that is our youngest customer, right? Or that is our new customer that we're trying to pull into the brand. That's the one that we haven't quite got yet. That's right.
Yep.
But that's also changing maybe the most.
Right.
Facebook, we've identified, we get our middle to oldest customer in Facebook. And so we also, with limited resources, we can't create content for all these different outlets, but we can change the voice slightly. We can change the tone a little bit. Sometimes it's the crop of the image. Often we'll do photo shoots with multiple models, and we'll use the different models in different places.
Smart. I've done
Right.
that. Yep.
So it's been incredibly challenging.
Yes. As a marketer today, it is very difficult.
Currently, I don't know if you've noticed that Instagram is moving away from engagement as a measurement, because it seems like people have stopped liking and sharing, And so now they're shifting like their measurement models to views, which I kind of hate. But so like there's all this stuff changing. It's changing all the time. So, you know, is our demographic there? Is a demographic that we're trying to reach there? Is there, is it authentic to us, you know, in terms of picking different like publications? Like, does it fit our brand, our values? Is it culturally relevant?
Right.
Is it, you know, we do sponsorships.
Okay.
Right. So say like, you know, we do Zoo-to-Do, we sponsor Zoo-to-Do and Scales and Ales. Next week we're doing, I think it's next week, we're doing a Easter egg hunt at the Batcher. So they do a big Easter egg hunt. Okay. And there's going to be, I can't remember how many it is. It might be 5. It could be 10. Silver eggs, and they're going to have Mignon Faget jewelry in them.
Smart.
These real special like things, right? So like who's those demographics? Well, it's the parent.
Right.
But you've also got the children there at the same time. So, you know, we try to get the most for our money.
Correct. And think about that impression, right?
Yes.
Meghan, so I'm 3 or maybe I'm 6. I get a golden egg and I grow up the rest of my life knowing that I got the silver egg with Mignon Faget, right?
Yes.
How exciting that is. And you carry that on. That becomes an heirloom piece and you share that with your kids. Really, really smart and very strategic.
Yes.
Okay. I've been checking out your media placements. That's actually one of the reasons why I gave you a call. Honestly, because I was just like, they're doing something. When I go to Lakeside Mall, I see that billboard every time. Yes. It is so well positioned. I've been seeing it there for years now. And I see the refresh creative, but it's still you guys. I knew there was something to that, right?
Yeah.
So the brand has a very strong design, vocabulary, and legacy. How do you brief your creative teams and your media partners so that campaigns feel fresh and modern, but still instantly recognizable as your brand?
It hasn't been very hard.
Okay.
I think kind of was saying before about the aesthetic that Mignon curated for us is timeless.
Yes.
Yes. And as I think all good design is. And so it's not hard to take it and sort of position it in a modern fashion.
Right.
Right?
It's classic design.
Because it's
beautiful. Yeah.
It's classic design and it's not hard. And so there is a real sort of design program and aesthetic that I have now spent almost 16 years sort of studying.
Okay.
And so I can define those things for a creative team. Like when we worked with Peter Mayer, we spent a lot of time talking about the history and the brand voice and who our customer is and the generational nature of it and how, you know, our first customer, you know, might be a 13-year-old maybe, or even younger, because we have this line called animal crackers, you know, where you might get a little animal cracker for Easter, and then, you know, you might get something at your Sweet 16, and then you might get something for graduation. So there's this real like story there, right? That is baked into the brand that is also consistent with like the creative identity of the brand. Correct. So then it's about being consistent, you know, making sure that like every execution sort of meets all these marks. Right. And every touch point all matches and it all is the same voice. So it's kind of easy. Peter Mayer was a great team and it was very easy working with them. Now I think we have everything's done in-house now. Okay. And I think we have an incredibly talented team. Nice. And it's incredibly collaborative. Yeah. And so they're all studying the brand too at the same time and always coming together and sort of defining that. But then also like, you know, we're always asking like, how are we relevant? Right? How are we relevant? How are we relevant to what's going on in the world? How are we relevant to what's going on in New Orleans? What trends are going on? We have 55 plus years of designs.
Right.
We can bring retire designs, we can bring them back.
Right, because you keep the molds.
Because we keep the molds. This is something we brought back in the fall that was from, I think, the late 80s. And actually, when it came out, it wasn't like the best performer, but it sort of fits into a trend that's happening right now.
Okay.
And it's done, in its relaunch, it has done incredibly well.
So who's the one that's keeping their ear to the street around like the creative that's become popular again when fashion is coming back around? Is that you?
I definitely am engaged.
Okay.
I definitely am engaged. I'm always watching.
Okay.
I'm always paying attention. I watch all the runway shows.
Okay. See, okay, got it.
I'm always reading. I'm just a curious individual. But I also hire curious individuals.
Okay.
And I think our whole team is very engaged and from lots of different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a tremendous value in that and a richness to what we're continuing to build.
You have a beautiful brand, and as you were speaking, you were saying it's not very difficult. Like when your brand is a person and the person's so iconic and so legendary herself, that's a lot easier than the brand being like, a magazine.
Yeah.
Or just being like a random brand.
Static product.
You're
Yeah.
like, it's more interesting, but it's also more clear. So our final question for you, looking ahead, what kinds of media bets and or strategic partnerships are you most interested in exploring? How do they support your long-term vision?
So like I said, we are interested in growing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe deeply in this brand and the aesthetic that Mignon built, and I believe deeply that it has more to offer than just be a small local jewelry brand. And I also, I love New Orleans. I wasn't born here, but I chose this as my home.
Okay.
I've been here for 30 years.
Okay.
And I have traveled a lot in my life. I've lived in lots of different places, lots of major cities in the United States. And I don't think that there's anywhere more unique than New Orleans. I just think there's something like super special here.
Okay.
And I think it's something that could be shared nationally or internationally if we get that far.
I do, and I hope so.
Yeah. So, so we're really looking at like how do we continue to build the brand locally and really solidify it in the culture, continue to solidify it in the culture. With that, we look at we've been doing a lot of collaborations and trying to do sort of like luxury adjacent collaborations. So not with like another jeweler, but we've worked with emeralds. We've done a project with the Collabs. The Collabs project is very interesting because it actually started with a local artist named Cubs the Poet. If you're not familiar with him, check him out.
Okay.
He's fascinating.
Cubs the Poet.
Cubs the Poet.
All right.
And how he sort of started, or how I was introduced to him, is he would write live poems for people. So I think he started out like in the French Quarter, sort of on Royal Street, doing it out in the public, but he's really building this kind of fascinating art form. And so he would ask you a couple questions. You would answer them however. Sometimes they would be real abstract, like give me a color, a flower, and a thing. And he's really good at like reading people. And then he would like write a poem for you on a typewriter, on an old-fashioned typewriter, click, click, clack, right? And he calls them poetrets. So it's a portrait, a poem portrait of yourself.
Portrait.
Yes, poemtrit.
Portrait. Wow.
So he has taken that and he's now moved into creating art, paintings.
Okay.
And portraits. We commissioned him, so thinking about Mignon and like how to like sort of keep her in the brand, but also sort of talk about the brand in a different way that isn't specifically the person. We had him create a portrait of Mignon. So there's both a poem and a physical painting that is in our 3801 Magazine Street gallery.
Nice.
And from that, we created a glass that has this imagery and these words on it. And from that, we did a collaboration. He has a he collaborates with the Columns also, but we did a holiday collaboration where they did a specialty cocktail in that glass, and if you buy the cocktail, you get to keep the glass with you.
Oh.
And Cubs does events there where he'll do these poetrets live at the Columns, sort of as this like cross-branding thing. So we look for these really unique collaborations,
Right.
which roots the brand in art.
Yes.
Can tell a different story.
Yes.
Can help us reach a different demographic or a different customer base. Cubs
Right.
is building his own thing.
Sounds like it.
And so, so we have done stuff like that. We are currently doing something with the Hotel Monteleone.
Nice.
I mentioned the Batcher.
Nice.
So locally, we're really trying to like collaborate to really, stay rooted in the culture of New Orleans and connected, right? It gives a great opportunity to like hear what people think too, right? Big picture, we are actively geo-targeting Dallas and Nashville.
As somebody from Memphis, I'm support the Tennessee move. All right.
And so recently we did a pop-up at Gus Meyer.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with Gus Meyer, it actually was a luxury department store that started here in New Orleans on Canal Street. There's still a building on Canal Street that has Gus Meyer painted on the side of it, but many years ago they closed the New Orleans store and they opened in Nashville. And so they have a luxury department store in Nashville. And so we recently did a pop-up there. We're kind of planning to do more going forward.
Nice.
Ideally, hopefully get a full like wholesale account there. In Dallas, we had last fall we did like an influencer event where we had cocktails and our new holiday collection available, and we did little gift bags, and we invited all these influencers to come, and they all posted and did their influencer piece of it, of the brand. And so we're gonna focus, because limited budget.
Yep.
And also there's a lot with the metal prices, and just the economy in general. There's been some like big shifts that have happened this last year that we're trying to be sensitive to. But we are going to specifically try to target more on Dallas. And so we are geo-targeting all of our digital advertising to Dallas.
Smart.
We are kind of not creating a separate campaign, but creating an adjacent campaign to our other campaigns specifically for Dallas. And then we are also looking at CTV.
Good.
We've had lots of meetings and talked to lots of people about it. And so, it's very expensive. It's very expensive if you really want to break in. And so, in terms of like the spend and making those marketing choices, I think you have to, especially when you're trying to touch so many points, you have to be very careful about is it going to be impactful, or are you just sort of like throwing money out into the world, right?
Correct. Like, will you get an ROI, or are you just driving awareness? Like, your brand is not one at this point. You're not like Coke, where they can spend money on just awareness, just getting top of mind over Pepsi. You're like, no, it needs to actually drive an action.
Yes, it needs to drive. Ideally, it drives action. We do awareness marketing, and we try to define those and make sure we know what we're getting.
Correct.
But if things get tight, sometimes those are the first places that you cut.
Correct.
Right?
I also want to go back to the billboard, though. So billboard, that would be one of your awareness drivers. Are you able to ever like connect that back to the investment, the return on investment? That billboard?
Not in a way that you can track digital advertising, of course.
Right.
But people tell me all the time that they see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and people come into, and we have physical locations. We're not a digital only brand, right? And so people come into our stores and tell us that they saw the thing.
Right.
They want the thing that they saw.
Right.
We have looked at billboards in Dallas and Nashville.
Nice.
And so, just trying to figure it out. I think in the past, a mistake that we've made is we spread ourselves too thin and we try to do too many things.
Okay.
Right? And we had this idea we want to be national, but we didn't have the funding to saturate it enough to make people aware. And so what we decided and what we think we could replicate is this sort of model that we're setting up with Dallas. So we are, through our digital marketing and because we have a great online store, we've already been able to identify Dallas customers.
Good.
We know we have a customer there, right? Mm-hmm. And we know what they're buying. Mm-hmm. And so now we can start building a hyper-targeted thing for this area.
Yes.
Dallas, fastest growing city in the United States, if you don't know that. An enormous amount of wealth going on there. Its own interesting cultural things going on. Still in the South-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
It's Texas, a whole other thing though.
Yeah, whole other thing, but also not too, we would love to break into LA or New York, right? But that's a whole different game. You're playing a whole different game and the level of competition. So we instead decided to sort of identify what we were calling kind of secondary markets, and build the brand.
Those markets are really smart, if you don't mind me saying so. And I have one final thing before we close out. What I loved about what you were saying, you're doing hard work. And I just want if everybody listen, this is hard work, right? The amount of segmentation, choosing the marketing outlets, choosing the media placements is very hard because the easiest thing to do when you look at the 4 P's of marketing, product, price, place, and promotion, the easiest one is price. Yeah. The easiest thing you could do is to be buy one, get one free, which that would completely denigrate the brand. We would never, ever, ever recommend doing that. But so many brands, when they are in transition or when they're unsure or when they have a sales slump, they shift to that to try to make it up in volume. But once you begin to do that, you can never then regain the brand equity that you've built.
That's a super interesting point, and I have a lot of feelings about it.
Tell us.
We've played that game.
Ooh, okay.
We've played that game, and we talk about it often, and especially in the digital marketing space, it is ubiquitous that these brands come onto the scene, and it's discount, 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 and that's how. And the argument is well, if somebody doesn't know the brand, you want them to try, right? You want them to try it. And what I've seen is I want to convert them, actually. I want to convert them to a longtime customer.
Right.
Right? I don't necessarily want the impulse buy of a cheap thing, because that's not what we're selling.
Correct.
So yeah, we talk about it a lot. Like any business, we have ups and downs, and when things get, say we get into a little sales slump, it's the first thing that people, maybe we need to have a sale.
Correct.
We did it in the way past. We measured it extensively, and in the end, it was not profitable or more profitable.
Right.
It didn't propel the business in any way.
Right.
So it is a tool.
Yep.
It is a tool. We do use it. We have 2 promotions that we do a year, and that is it.
Okay.
And but we do also we'll do SMS get 10% off if you sign up with SMS, or if you give us your email, or if you if there's some kind of transactional thing where we get an additional thing.
Right.
We'll make that choice sometimes, but we try to be very limited with it. Okay. It undermines the story of value.
That's
just like you said. It undermines it. Yeah.
It's I'm a Kiehl's customer, and Kiehl's is another very luxury brand in skincare, and they have a twice a year or once a year sale. And me and my cousin, we know when the sale is, and we get the products are ridiculously expensive, right? For skincare, we think so. Well, you can go to like the drugstore and get Dove, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but we kind of center our lives around, okay, the skincare sale is going to be this date to this date. Let's make sure we're ready to get our products for the year. So they do that in a way that still doesn't undermine the value. So we could talk forever. Maghan Oroszi, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate her for joining us today. Thank you, Maghan, for coming and really pulling back the curtain on what's going on behind the scenes with Mignon Faget and media and your brand.